Welcome everyone. Today we're delving into the world of BITO ETF. An ETF, or exchange-traded fund, is a type of investment fund and exchange-traded product traded on stock exchanges. BITO ETF is the first Bitcoin-linked exchange-traded fund launched by ProShares. It doesn't hold Bitcoin directly, but tracks the price via futures contracts. This innovative financial tool enables investors to bet on the price of Bitcoin without owning the cryptocurrency itself. Now, let's weigh the pros and cons of investing in a BITO ETF rather than buying Bitcoin directly. On the plus side, BITO ETF offers a regulated and transparent way to invest in Bitcoin. It provides investors with the ability to speculate on the price of Bitcoin without the need to directly purchase and store the cryptocurrency. This eliminates the risks associated with digital wallets and cyber theft. Additionally, BITO ETF allows for diversification, which is a key strategy for managing risk in any investment portfolio. However, investing in a BITO ETF is not without downsides. One of the primary cons is the cost. ETFs come with management fees, while owning Bitcoin directly does not. Furthermore, because BITO ETF tracks Bitcoin's price through futures contracts, its performance may not always perfectly mirror that of Bitcoin. This might result in potential discrepancies in price and returns. Taking a closer look at the performance, over the same period, BITO ETF and Bitcoin have shown a strong correlation, but with some noticeable differences. The performance of BITO ETF is subject to the futures market, which can deviate from the spot price of Bitcoin. So, how can investors use BITO ETF in their investment strategy? It can serve as a store of value, much like gold, for those looking to hedge against market volatility. For the informed risk-taker, it can be a vehicle to speculate on the future price of Bitcoin. However, a few words of caution before you dive in. Like any investment, BITO ETF comes with market risk. The value of BITO ETF can fluctuate, sometimes dramatically, in response to changes in Bitcoin's price. Also, remember the management fees associated with any ETF, including BITO. To wrap it up, BITO ETF presents an exciting opportunity for investors to gain exposure to Bitcoin in a regulated environment. However, as with any investment, it's important to weigh the potential risks and rewards. Remember, the best investment strategy is one that aligns with your financial goals and risk tolerance.